Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at the first selection box for the month of March. And in this selection box, there are 12 different Tsums that you could get. And if you are trying to get one of these Tsums, you have until March 10th end of day to try to get one of them. And in this selection box, I think it's pretty okay. There are some Tsums in here that are good for coins, and there are some Tsums that are good for missions. So I'll go over all 12 of these Tsums a little bit later and tell you which ones are good for what. Before I do that, let's go over the 12 Tsums that are in this selection box. So first, we have the White Queen, Barley, Prince Ali, Panchito Pistoles, Jack Sparrow, Big Bad Wolf, Mowgli, Tramp, Fairy Godmother, Ursula, Thumper, and Timon. And let's also cover my top 3 Tsums for this selection box. So number 1, I have the White Queen. The White Queen is a relatively easy Tsum to use, and for my demonstration for all of these Tsums were all skill level 6, and I was able to get the most coins out of all 12 of these Tsums using the White Queen. So if you are looking for a coin earner, then the White Queen is the one you want to get. There are some other good ones for coins as well, which leads me to my number 2. Jack Sparrow is also a really good coin earner, and it's also very beginner friendly. His ability is just a diagonal burst Tsum. So it's very easy to earn a lot of coins and make a lot of high chains, therefore earning a lot of coins. So if you are looking for a coin earner, the White Queen, Jack Sparrow are both really good options. If you aren't able to get these two, Barley is actually not a bad option as well to get coins. So those 3 are going to be really good for coins. But my number 3 is actually Timon. Timon is a really good Tsum to use if you are looking for a Tsum that makes really big bubbles. So if you ever encounter one of those missions where you have to make big bubbles per game, you might get like 8 or 9 big bubbles per game. So those missions can be difficult if you don't have a big Tsum available. So Timon is a big Tsum maker, and if you want to skip forward to check out his ability to see how that works, go ahead, feel free, check out the description below, and you'll be able to link it to Timon directly. But yeah, he's a really good Tsum to make big bubbles. But anyways, I do want to show you guys all 12 of these game demonstrations so that way you can determine for yourself if you want to invest in them or not. So let's take a look at the very first Tsum. The first Tsum, we have the White Queen. And the White Queen's ability description is clears all the Tsums in the center. And the White Queen is really that simple. It's a really easy Tsum to use and earns a really good amount of coins. So if you are looking for a really good coin earner, then definitely try to get the White Queen. And that's actually the reason why I have the White Queen as my number 1, because it's a really easy Tsum to use and it's very beginner friendly and earns a lot of coins. The strategy here is to make sure that before you activate the ability, that the center area has a lot of Tsums, and then activate the ability as fast as possible once all the Tsums settle down. And if you take a closer look at the ability, you'll notice that it's actually not just a center burst, but it's more in a crown shape or more like a W. The entire bottom section is pretty much clear with the exception of 2 to 3 Tsums for the most part, and it goes all the way up to the top center area. So the blast radius is actually pretty big, and for the most part you could probably get 38 or even sometimes 40 chains. So it's a pretty high chain combo Tsum to use. So with that being said, at the end of this gameplay, I was able to get 3,585 coins for this game demonstration. So not too bad, especially for a level 6 Tsum, and that's very beginner friendly. Next, we have Barley. Now, Barley is also really good for coins, but I didn't rank Barley because Barley is not as good as Jack Sparrow. But Barley, if you have him pretty close to skill level 6, it's not a bad option either. Barley's from Onward, and his ability description is clears a horizontal plus a zigzag line of zooms. There are two components to Barley's ability. One is every time you level him up, the skill range will get bigger. So this game demonstration is a skill level 6 game demonstration, so it's already maxed out. And I'm going to need 19 copies of Barley cleared off the screen to activate his ability. So as you level up Barley, the amount of zooms that you need to activate his ability will decrease. And check out Barley's ability, there are two components. First component is he's going to drive his van directly across the screen. And then the second component is him swerving the van from the bottom right to the middle center, left side, and then the top right hand corner. So the strategy here is to spam the ability button, because what you'll notice here is that during his ability, the screen does not freeze, meaning that you could just activate as soon as possible. And sometimes what happens when you spam the ability button is any access charge will go to your next charge up for the next ability, which requires even less zooms to charge up. So let's say if you've cleared 20 for your first clear, that means that one additional Barley will go to the next charge up, meaning that the next build up will only need 18. So take a look at it here. You see that Barley's already pretty much full, and you'll notice that when you spam the ability button, some of that charge will go into the next build up. So Barley at skill level 6 for this game demonstration, I was able to get 3,261 coins. So not too bad, pretty competitive to the White Queen and also the Jack Sparrow. So the difference isn't huge. If you already have Barley at a pretty high level and you want to level him up, it's not a bad option, especially if you need a good coin earner. He's not technically the best or even in the top tier, but out of this selection box, he is one of the better ones. Next, we have Prince Ali from Aladdin, and his ability description is clear Tsum Tsum in the shape of an inverted T. I'm currently playing Prince Ali at skill level 6, so the ability is going to be extra large, and I really like his ability because it's really easy to use and earns a okay amount of coins. Definitely not amazing, but he is really easy to use, so for that matter, he might be one you want to invest in if you already have him at a decently high level. And one of the strategies to using Prince Ali is just make sure that when you activate the ability, try to activate it as quick as possible because the screen does not freeze during his animation. And another cool thing about Prince Ali is that he is going to be good for combo missions. So if you are someone who is playing through the monthly missions and struggle with getting a high combo, then you may want to get one copy of him. Because take a look at his ability here when activated, that every bottom of the screen, you see all those ones, it represents one combo. So all of the zooms at the bottom of the screen is going to be cleared and counting as one combo, similar to how patch works. And usually per ability, you're going to get additional 12 to 13 combo whenever you activate his ability. So Prince Ali is great for combo missions. For coins, not super amazing. It's on the not as great side, but if you have him at a low level, he is somewhat okay compared to some of the other lower level zooms that we have. So at the end of this gameplay, skill level 6, I was able to get 2,157. So he's not going to be great comparing skill level 6 to skill level 6 other zooms. But if he's at skill level 1, 2, or 3, it is competitive to other lower level zooms. Next, we have Panchito Pistoles, the 3 Caballeros. The ability description here is clears a horizontal line of Tsum Tsum. I'm currently playing him at skill level 6, so I'm going to need a total of 16 copies of him before I can activate his ability. And there's going to be 3 different lines of Tsums that gets cleared, and that's his ability. You'll see that he's going to fly across the screen along with his buddies to clear 3 different lines of Tsums off the screen. And his ability is that simple, and just like all the other Tsums that we have so far, his ability doesn't stop the screen, or it doesn't freeze, and I think that's a really cool thing to have during ability time. But unfortunately, Panchito Pistoles isn't great for coins, and not great for combos, not necessarily great for chains either. So it's really going to be just if you really like his color scheme and how he works. But other than that, really not that great of a Tsum, and not really great for anything. So for that reason, I am a no-go for Panchito Pistoles. And at the end of this gameplay, I was only able to get 1,761 coins. So that's the reason why it's a no-go for Panchito Pistoles. Next, we have my number 2 Tsum, Jack Sparrow. And Jack Sparrow is from the Pirates of the Caribbean series, and his ability description is clears a diagonal line of Tsum Tsum. I'm currently playing him at skill level 6, and his skill range is going to be extra large. His ability is really easy to use and also earns a lot of coins. So that's the reason why I have Jack Sparrow as my number 2. So take a look at his ability here. It has a relatively low charge up time, and whenever his ship jumps across the screen, those Jack Sparrows that gets cleared off will count towards your ability little charger as well. So if you look at the ability, it goes from the top right down to the diagonal bottom left hand corner and clears out a majority of the screen. So one of the strategy here is you want to make sure that the entire screen is full before you activate Jack Sparrow's ability. And you might want to have a magic bubble handy. If you have one handy, you could pop it before you activate the ability, speeding up the animation. If you have the screen relatively full, you should get in the mid to low 30s. But if you have gaps in between the abilities, you're going to get high 20s. So definitely make sure that the gaps aren't there before you activate the ability. And at the end of this gameplay, I was able to get 3,497 coins. So it was my number 2 highest coin earner out of the 12 Tsums that we have here for this selection box. Next, we have Big Bad Wolf from Three Little Pigs. And his ability description is pretty funny. It's he'll huff and he'll blow those Tsums away. So I think out of all the Tsums that we have released right now, he definitely has one of the funnest description out of all the Tsums that we have. I'm currently playing him at skill level 6, so his skill range is going to be extra large. And his ability is just as described. What he's going to do is he's going to huff and then puff, blowing a lot of Tsums on the right center area away in like a little alligator shaped size. So currently at skill level 6, a bunch of the Tsums will get blown off, so it's kind of like a sideways V shape. So the strategy here is just make sure that entire section has a lot of Tsums, and it could be helpful to get rid of the bubbles there as well because they do get in the way. But if Big Bad Wolf blows a bubble there, those bubbles will pop as well, but it doesn't really help in terms of getting a high chain. Keep in mind that the higher the chains, the more coins you're going to get, so you definitely want to make sure that that's optimized and have a lot of Tsums on the right hand side. But unfortunately, Big Bad Wolf isn't that great for coins. He's just a really fun Tsum to use. At the end of this gameplay, I was only able to get 1,795 coins, so not amazing. Next, we have Mowgli from Jungle Book. The ability description for Mowgli is clears a horizontal line of Disney Tsum Tsum. I'm currently playing Mowgli at skill level 6, so his skill range is going to be extra large, and his ability is really easy to use, but unfortunately the charge up time is kind of long. But his ability is kind of cool. So it's like the Jungle Book, or it is the Jungle Book, not like the Jungle Book. And what happens, the bottom section is going to get cleared in a horizontal shape. So take a close look at the clearing area. Because I am playing at skill level 6, a lot of the areas are going to be cleared. It's pretty much the bottom half of the screen, really, especially if you have him at skill level 6. A bunch of the zooms are going to get cleared. So he's a really easy zoom to use. Really just make sure that the bottom section has a lot of zooms. And because the ability does freeze the screen, you definitely want that to be optimized. And at the end of this gameplay, Mowgli at skill level 6, I was able to get 2,158 coins. So nothing too amazing, but yeah, definitely going to be a pass on Mowgli. But it's a really fun zoom to use, and I really do like the animation. And also it's very easy to use. Next we have Tramp from Lady and the Tramp. The ability description is clear Tsum Tsum in a horizontal line and heart shape. I'm currently playing Tramp at skill level 6, so the skill range is going to be extra large. So Tramp's ability has two components. First, his ability is going to clear the bottom section, and then you'll see a little heart shape comes up, and that heart shape is going to represent the area that's also going to get cleared at the very top. So the strategy here is make sure the entire screen is full. Because you can't really just prepare for the bottom and then the middle center section. So you want to make sure that the clear area there has a lot of zooms, and the best strategy here is just to make sure that there's a lot of zooms on the screen before you activate the ability. And it's really as simple as that. And Tramp is a okay zoom. It's not super amazing, it's not bad either. It's somewhere in the middle range for all the zooms that we have currently released. And Tramp is also a really good zoom for any heart shape calling ability mission. So if you are playing bingo cards, you may encounter some of those missions where you need to use a heart calling shape or something like that, where they it's like a heart shape calling zoom. I think that's what it's called, but essentially Tramp is really good for those missions. So try to use Tramp if you encounter one of those missions. And at the end of this gameplay, Tramp at skill level 6, I was able to get 2,447 coins. So not amazing, but not terrible either. So somewhat in the middle range. Next, we have Fairy Godmother from Cinderella, and her ability description is Cinderellas that can be connected with the Fairy Godmother appear. Cinderella's also clear surrounding Tsum Tsum. I'm currently playing her at skill level 6, so I'm going to need 16 copies of her to activate her ability, and it's going to change a total of 10 zooms into Cinderella. So the one cool thing about using Fairy Godmother is she's a really good Tsum to use if you are trying to make a time bubble. And if you are someone who plays very quickly, she's also really good at making really long chains as well, because what happens is whenever you clear the Cinderellas, it's going to pop surrounding Tsums as well. So take a look at the screen here. I have 3 score bubbles and 1 time bubble. And usually when you are using any Tsums that has Cinderella in it, it's a relatively good Tsum to make time bubbles. So as you see here, there's already 2 time bubbles on the screen. So if you are looking for a time bubble maker and don't have Cinderella yet, Fairy Godmother might be a good option for you. But unfortunately, Fairy Godmother isn't amazing for coins, but if you are a fast player, you definitely could earn a lot more coins than I did here. And at the end of this gameplay, I ended up with 2,271 coins for Fairy Godmother. Next we have Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and her ability description is clear Tsum Tsum in the shape of a circle. I'm currently playing Ursula at skill level 6, so the ability is going to be extra large. And yeah, Ursula's ability isn't necessarily a perfect circle, it's more like an oval or a sideways 0. I think that's the best way for me to describe Ursula's circle radius. And because I am playing her at skill level 6, the thickness of the circle is going to be relatively big. So she's going to be able to get you roughly 25 to 28 chains per ability. So it's pretty good. But Ursula, when you are using Ursula, is really going to be for the coin purposes. Her ability doesn't really help you with any of the missions that we have. One of the strategies to using Ursula is just make sure that the entire screen has a lot of Tsums before you activate the ability, because she is going to be drawing that oval shape. So you just want to make sure that that area has a lot of Tsums, but for the most part, having the screen completely full is going to be very beneficial. And at the end of this gameplay, Ursula at skill level 6, I was able to get 2,627 coins. So in the middle range, leaning towards the better one in this selection box specifically. Next we have Thumper from Bambi. The ability description is clears all the Tsum Tsum in the center. I'm currently playing Thumper at skill level 6, so the skill range is going to be extra large. So as you can see on the screen here, Thumper is also another Tsum that is relatively good for making time bubbles. So if you want to get a Tsum that makes really good time bubbles, then Thumper is a good option for that. And the reason for that is because Thumper's ability clears between 10 to 12 Tsums off the screen. And that's roughly the sweet spot for time bubbles. So if you want, you could rewind this gameplay here and count how many time bubbles I can make. It's a really good Tsum for time bubbles. But not only that, Thumper is also relatively good for heart-shaped making Tsums or heart-shaped calling Tsums. So if you run into any of those bingo missions that are heart-shaped calling missions, then Thumper could be good for that. So if I were to use Thumper, it will primarily be heart-shaped making Tsums, or heart-shaped calling Tsums, or the time bubble missions. But other than that, really Thumper is not good for anything else. Thumper is not a Tsum you would use to get a lot of coins or make a lot of combos. And at the end of this gameplay, Thumper, I was only able to get 1,182 coins, so nothing that great, but definitely a lot of time bubbles though. So definitely count out how many time bubbles I got. Yeah, and then leave in the comments below and help me count. Okay, and finally we have Timon, and Timon is from the Lion King series. His ability description is high scoring Pumbaa Tsum Tsum appears that you can link to Timon's Tsum Tsums. I'm currently playing Timon at skill level 6, so it's going to change a total of 7 Tsums on the screen into giant Pumbas. So that's the reason why I have Timon as my number 3, because his ability makes big Tsums. So if you ever have any of those missions that require you to make 8 to 10 big Tsums per game, Timon is perfect for that. Now, Timon is not the best one for big Tsum making, but it is a good one. So that's why I have him as number 3, just because he's pretty good for making those missions. I usually like to have a mixture of good coin earners as well as good Tsums for missions, and Timon is perfect for those big Tsum making. And also, Timon is a good Tsum if you want to get a Tsum that makes a high score, because if you have Timon at a higher level, when you have Pumbas showing up on the screen and make super long chains, Timon and Pumbaa could earn you a pretty high score. But for this game demonstration, I only have Timon at level 9, or I think level 9 for this game demonstration. So the score isn't going to be amazing. So you likely need to get Timon to a higher level before you could use him to earn a lot of coins. But at the end of this gameplay here, Timon at skill level 6, for coins I only got 1,277. So Timon is not going to be great for coins, but like I mentioned, Timon is a really good Tsum to have if you are looking for a Tsum that turns Tsums into big Tsums. It's really going to help you out on those missions. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that you guys found these videos helpful in determining which Tsums to invest in this selection box. And if you guys would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, or just want to support this channel as we grow here, definitely don't forget to subscribe to this channel. and give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to get updated when a video gets posted, especially for a leaked video, don't forget to hit that bell button. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.